You know what time it is?
Boom shakalaka! Yay! And you know, it reminds me of when Miss Willie Mae Wright. Remember, we asked her to say "boom shakalaka," and you can't just ask her to say something. She said, "What does it mean?"
Okay, yeah.
It means it's Friday. Happy Friday. We got another great show lined up today, Chaveevah.
Yes, it's just great to be here. It's a great day. We've got a wonderful guest, Sarah Kiani from Hope Tree Counseling Services, and we're going to talk about some great things today.
Yes, welcome, Sarah.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. Nice to meet you both and be back in Waterloo today. Yeah, good day today.
Right. I wondered if Ed had the microphone for the iPhone because we were having technical difficulties, but I don't know if that's something he can do, or if you can hear us, let us know, because I don't think we plugged in that microphone. But we're going to get started anyway. Ed's here all by himself. Thank you, Ed. And Agnes, we always miss her, right? There's always something good happening on the North End, Chaveevah.
And everywhere else.
And what do we got going on? Because we like to start off telling you what we have going on right here on the North End.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, one thing that we used to always do was what we call our pre-boom shakalaka. Well, we're going to be having that again starting Thursday, the 17th. And let me see here.
Yep. Oh, that's with Laura Rose Burt.
Yes, and we're going to be at the Hair Hood on West 3rd. There's a big party or something going on there, right?
Right. They're having a grand opening, and she's going to have all kinds of stuff going on. And the tennis shoe contest, and what were some of the other things that you looked into?
Right, just I don't know, I got stuck at the tennis shoe competition because I didn't know there was such a thing. Now I know.
Right, and you know, Sarah, that my Waterloo days are going on.
We drove right past on our way over. I think I might go later. I've only gone once, so
awesome.
Yeah, it's like fun.
All this weekend, and try to stay cool while you're out there, because it's going to be a nice hot weekend. I mean, hot.
Okay, something that you can do where you can in the air conditioned or whatever comfort of your own home is the online premiere of Lillian. That's a short film by our friend Carson Morrissey.
Yes.
It's free and open to the public, and it's going to be airing at 7 o'clock this evening.
Right. Carson and Shelby Davis are young people over there at the Grout Museum.
Yes.
And I mean, they do such a great job with everything that they do in their programming at the Grout. And also, we want to thank the Grout for being great supporters of our show, North End Update.
Yes.
All right. What else we got? Week 2 for the Black Hawk County Care for Yourself. Now, we know people have been putting things off because of COVID and everything. But Black Hawk County Health Department wants us to tell you and all the people you know to get out there and get all of your stuff taken care of. You need to get your mammograms. And they even have free cancer screening, right, Chaveevah?
Yes, absolutely. They've got preventative screenings. Some people tend to avoid that because they don't want bad news, but hey, it's good to be proactive. And the sooner you get these things done, there's always chances for better outcomes. Encourage someone you love to go get their screening today, get their mammogram, get that physical, check your colon, all those things. And if you or someone you know needs help paying for these services, call the Care for Yourself program at 319-292-2225.
Right, and you've got to care for yourself because if you don't, who will? Nobody. Right? So do it today, right? And like you said, a lot of that stuff is preventative. When we want to be on the preventative side of anything like cancer, So, and being fully vaccinated and sitting together is kind of
Yes,
nice, wouldn't
it's
you
so
say?
nice.
That's
Yes.
way different.
It really feels different. It's such a nice feeling to be able to see people smile.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. We're going to get to some things, and I know you get to see a lot of people smile doing what you do. And with all of your background as a mental health advocate and provider, I believe, we know that mental health is big in today's world, and we understand it a lot better and want to do better about that. Just quickly give us a synopsis before we move on a little bit about what do you do at the Hope Tree?
Yeah, sure. So Hope Tree Counseling is over at the Campfield Lumberyard, so it's on 10 acres, but it's a counseling agency. So we see folks for any variety of mental health issues, kids, we see a lot of children, families, couples, help people with depression, anxiety. There's been a lot. It's been a hard year on many levels, right? For
Oh, absolutely.
many different reasons. And so we just try to people, get that hope instilled back in them.
And from what I've seen, the pictures and what I've heard from people in my family, that it's just a great program, and we're looking forward to talking to you a lot more about that and some services that you can provide to our viewers. And viewers, if you have any questions, this is a great time to ask Sarah what kind of things that they do, and if you maybe even qualify for the program and what the qualifications are. Okay, and now I think it's time to talk about this wonderful magazine that we love to talk about. Have you heard about the Soul Town? Yay! It's that big of a deal, right?
Yes, the Soul Town magazine was started right here in Waterloo by Cherie Kaba. It is now a nationwide and, in fact, worldwide publication. It's both digital and print. There are a lot of stories things that may be significant to us locally because we know some of the people, but there's also a lot of things that have nationwide or worldwide impact, things that affect us all.
Right, kind of like our show, and now they're even seen in more countries, 19 countries and 4 planets, kind of like us.
Okay.
And we're even in the book. We're in the book. So make sure you check out thesoultown.com.
Yes, there we are.
Oh, there we are. Yeah. So check that out, and you can always be in touch with what's going on. All right. So now we're going to talk about just our Give It Air today is about mental health and safeguarding our mental health. And we thought that you'd be a good person to help us because what our dilemma is the thing about all of the things that come crashing down in your daily life, and what we've been through last year, the racial tension, the political stuff that's going on, and on a national scale, we know that there's, what's the young woman, Naomi Osaki, she just basically threw her hands up in the air and said, you know what, I just can't do this. And that's okay, or it should be. I just want to mention locally, we have all this stuff going on with the police department and the black community and the things, everybody's dug in with their
The
feelings.
controversy over the
And the
Griffin.
controversy over the Griffin. I just want to say, how can we handle the stress and tension? I want to hopefully say everybody just take a deep breath and let's, we know we're going to get through whatever the problem is that we face. But Chaveevah, did you want to comment on how can we get through, such political, everybody's so separate?
Well, part of it, in my opinion, because that's what we're talking about here is opinions, is that there's a certain level of acceptance of change, because there are some things that are going to change whether we approve of them or not. And there are and change doesn't have to be looked at as something negative. It can be looked at as something positive. So.
That's a good, and this is a great time to change because we know that America is in a bad place right now, and sometimes we just need to. How do we protect our mental health when we're with such divided opinions.
Right, right. I think one of the biggest problems we face this year is repeated traumas. So it's not that, George Floyd was enough, more than enough, but then there's more, and so I think that many people get in a state of more of a survival mode, and mental health falls to the bottom of that, when you're really faced with higher stakes. And so things can come out sideways, and anger and frustration are very justified right now for so many reasons. But what we do with the anger and frustration, how do we have a voice for change and still take care of ourselves? And I think that's where mental health really comes in, because the idea that we we can be sad and angry, but not allow that sadness and anger to destroy ourselves, because that is already what's been going on for so long with oppression in our systems and the way in which we're trying to make change now, And so I think self-care, like you mentioned, the idea of being able to take a breath, but one thing for me, the biggest part, just to get people talking about mental health, because we don't talk about it enough, and we don't talk about it within our families, and culturally there's differences about understanding and acceptance of mental health issues. So for me as an advocate, the main thing is being able to be vulnerable and say when you're struggling and reach out and ask for help,
Good looking out, because I'm telling you, with the way that I feel about some of these, what's going on in our community right now, you turn on the news and you just see the things that really bother you and really make your blood boil, and you get anxious about things. And it's much needed to know how to cope with these issues when you feel like you're so frustrated that people don't understand your point of view on both sides.
Yeah.
And there's no give. I know you were on the committee.
And there's no give.
Right, and there's no give.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we had to give that some air. That's a segment that we do every week, and we just like to give some air to some controversial things that are going on. So if you guys have any comments or anything, there's Mary Cagley, I think I see, and she says, what if you can't do anything about being alone too much? I have to go out to be with people, but I can't do that much because of my legs, and I can't drive now. Thank you, Mary, for chiming in, and that is definitely a challenge, and I suppose you run into a lot of people that are maybe like shut in, like Mary is homebound.
Yeah, social isolation has been, I think, one of the biggest contributors to depression this year with the pandemic.
Yes.
And what we forget is that some people live with social isolation for years. Like Mary's implying, that maybe if you can't walk well and you don't have that extra family support. The nice thing about COVID is that our industry and mental health has changed to really allow a lot more telehealth. So Mary, a person like you could come, call and have appointments via telehealth, which is really a nice option. And Medicaid now in Iowa is allowing that much more than they used to because of the pandemic, and we're trying now to advocate for that to stay.
Good.
Because we can cast our net wider, not only with people with disabilities, but more rural areas with telehealth. So that's definitely an option for most people now, and most insurances will allow that. Right now, all of them.
There you go, Mary. She's a good friend and known for a long time. Yeah. Well, and I feel bad, Mary, because now I'm gonna come visit you. We just got out of COVID, just took off my mask, so I'll be there soon, Mary, to visit you. And of course, shout out to our friend Joyce Wilder, who's making progress.
Yes, absolutely, and thank you, Joyce, for keeping us updated with your progress. It's good to see you getting stronger. Every day we're pulling for you, and it's just good news.
It is, all around.
Yes.
Okay, we had a great show last week, and I think you got to watch the director of Waterloo Center for the Arts, Kit Schenkel, and the beautiful and very helpful and intelligent Dr. Nafisa from Blackhawk County Health Department. Great show, and we want to just, if you haven't seen it, go to our wall and watch it. And while you're there, go to North End Update and like our page, because just because you're friends with Rocki and Chaveevah does not mean that you'll get to see everything on North End Update. And so we need you to do that so we can tag you. All right. So we want people to follow us, Chaveevah.
Yes, whether you watch us on,
YouTube?
there you go, whether you watch us on YouTube or watch us on the WCTV channel 17 or 79-4, please be sure to also go to,
North End Update.
thank you.
And like our page, like I just said, but also, and you could be watching us live right now, and we appreciate that. Okay, we have got to remind our birthday people, because we heard you like to sing.
I act, but I can act like I can sing.
Okay, there you go. We have an actor slash
Perfect.
singer. She done been discovered, y'all.
She said she will act like she can sing.
Okay,
That sounds
I
like me.
it. Hey, that's me too. We don't sing
Yeah.
good, but we sing loud.
There
so.
you go.
We're going to sing Happy Birthday, and we're going to let you sweat about that because you have a solo. So we're going to let you think about that for a little while. And so we're going to get some questions to you. So we want to ask you, first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started
Sure. So,
with the Hope Tree.
Yep, yeah. So I went to UNI, for graduate school.
Oh, yeah, we
over
know
at
that
the,
school.
Master's in clinical mental health. So that then, allows us to practice and get licensed in the state. And while I was there in my last year, I met one of my professors, Dr. Linda Nebbe, and she was teaching us about nature-assisted work and animal-assisted therapy. And I thought, wow, this is something I've always been interested in. I've always been an animal lover, nature lover. And as I began to understand how helpful that is for the brain to add these features in, her and I began to discuss and collaborate about opening our own place. And then the lumberyard became available right as the year before I graduated. So I bought the lumberyard and fixed up the office, and when we graduated, we opened 3 months later.
Oh,
Yeah.
So that lumberyard that she's talking about is the one over there on Cedar Bend, right by the Quick Start,
On
where
Broadway.
the horses
Yeah.
are. So that, and then how many animals do you have? I saw on your website, I think we have some pictures of kittens and donkeys
Yeah,
and
donkeys.
chickens
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So yeah, that was pretty cool. How
Yeah.
many animals do you have
We
on
have
set?
2 miniature donkeys, a pony and a horse. I think there's about 12 chickens. All that grows every summer with babies,
Oh.
And then the lot is 10 acres, and it's the old lumberyard. So from 1942 was when it was built, and it's had horses on there since the 50s.
How are your
Oh,
animals
really?
incorporated into your healthcare services?
Yeah, so the basic premise of animal-assisted therapy is incorporating the animal to enhance the therapeutic benefit. So the idea is that I will work with you on your depression with my maybe person-centered approach. So I will help you the way I normally would, but then we're going to add in our little friend here and include him in the reflection and the processing. Maybe you could touch the animal and kind of, if you're anxious or nervous, a lot of petting really helps. We know that oxytocin in the brain is released when we pet animals, which is the happiness chemical in the brain. And so we would observe, we can touch, we can interact with kids. It works really well to observe the animals and talk about their behaviors. And then they can say, like, if one chicken is picking on the other chicken, and I can turn to my child client and say, do you ever feel like that little chicken? And so yeah, my brother did, so it works very well to pull out information and analogies. And the herd work with horses is amazing because they're very subtle in their movements. So, they give a shoulder or turn away. Does anyone ever turn away from you? So there's a lot that can happen.
Wow.
Good deal. And how many people do you serve?
Oh, sure, yeah. So we have 5 therapists right now. We just hired a new one, Katie Schieffer. So we serve right now with COVID, we're still doing a lot of telehealth, but I'd say we serve about 60 to 80 people a week, from 2 to
Wow.
2 on up.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly 4 and up, but every once in a while we'll get those little people.
Wow, I
So,
had no idea that
yeah.
you served that many people in such a broad range of ages.
Lots of children with child-centered play therapy, 2 playrooms in the office.
So maybe, did I miss it? Did you mention how long that you've been doing this?
Oh, so I graduated in 2015,
Okay.
and we opened that same 6 months later. So,
Okay.
so we're in our 6th year now.
Wow. Okay, so the age range can be from
I mean, normally it's 3 or 4.
3
Every
or
once in
4.
a while we'll get a 2-year-old with a parent. You know, and that's important, that early childhood. We really believe that foundational, you know, if we can teach emotional intelligence and empathy to kids, but also the parents, right? And work together, then we really are making a change, you know.
Yeah, so you mean I can drop my 12-year-old off at your place and say, have fun, and come back in about, what, 3 hours?
So the sessions are a little...
I get the wrong idea.
So it's basically like
Sessions.
a medical office, right? So you have an appointment, and it's either 45 minutes or an hour. We take your insurance, so we'll take Medicaid or any other insurances, and we're on this lumberyard site, so we have... People can have sessions outside or inside or in the presence of the animals, and parents or whoever else is there can hang out in the lobby or at the picnic table, or, you know.
How
Yeah,
nice.
people usually come the sessions once a week.
It sounds like it's
Usually-
pretty accessible, what with the connection with Medicare, Medicaid
Mhm.
or whatever, and what's, are the animals incorporated with every,
It's a choice.
a choice?
Oh.
Okay.
So at first, the therapist needs to have the competency, right? So they need to be able to offer that, which most of our people now at least offer observation and interaction on some level. And then the client, whether it's an adult or child, can say, yeah, I want to go sit by the chickens. You know, if we know, like if I have a kid who's very anxious, I know that it's going to be good for him to sit by the chickens, because chickens,
They'll
if you're
make you
anxious,
settle down.
if you don't settle down, they will not settle down.
Oh.
So you have to have that self-control, you know. So we offer that inside, outside, without, and then they can be inside too. Have an office session if they choose.
Awesome. Yeah, and so, go ahead.
No, it's very interesting. I guess I didn't really know very much about, or hadn't heard very much about, you know, with using animals other than, like, I don't know, maybe actual therapeutic horseback riding or something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, now what is your liability? I mean, do you
Yes.
have a lot of that horseback riding, or
So,
what if a
yeah, the
horse
horses are
kicks
complicated.
somebody,
Mhm.
or, you know, how
Yeah.
does that work?
So I took a postmaster certificate, a 1-year program called Equine Assisted Mental Health at the University of Denver. And so I learned a lot about all of those things you just asked me, because it's so important. I mean, horses are huge animals, and they're powerful, and they can be dangerous. So at Hope Tree, Iowa, we don't do any mounted work, meaning people don't get on our horses at all, but we
Oh,
interact
really?
with them.
Oh.
You know, and do petting over the fence, or if a person's trained to do the in-hand work, then we would have a third person there with the horse, but we're not doing that right now. But mostly, yeah, still we have a waiver, you know, that people would sign, because there is risk with all animals, but
Sure.
the benefit outweighs, you know,
Yeah.
the risk.
I just got to ask you, I know you work with a lot of people in the community. Daquan Campbell.
Yeah, he's helping
Nia
us with our
Shindig,
garden.
you know.
Mhm.
Hey, Nia, shout out to Nia.
Yeah, she'll be at the Waterloo Days with her gear tonight, she told me.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Shindig, yeah.
With her light gear.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Oh yes, I got to take a selfie with my life gear. I got light gear. I got some orange about that color.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Yeah,
tell us,
Daquan,
what is their role? What are their roles?
Daquan is such a leader in the community with his
Yes.
gardening with We Arose, and so I just met him a few months ago, and he's offered to help us. We have a separate program that we partner with Jesse Cosby in the summer through their Shara Baker runs that program.
Yes.
So that's a youth empowerment program, and the kids get a work experience. So we're one of their job sites. So we'll get 6 youth from the Cosby program, and they'll come work in our garden. My intern Aisha and Nia also will be a mentor for them.
Okay.
And then that programming will run this summer. So Daquan is kind of mentoring us on gardening, because he's such a pro. And then the food that we're growing is for the community, you know. And we're
Yes.
looking for volunteers for that, because the idea is we have 10 acres over there. Right now the garden is about a 1/4 acre, but we want to grow as much food that we can give away as possible, organic,
Yes.
local, you know, addressing those food deserts and that whole idea.
That's fantastic.
Needing-
Yeah.
Needing to have that option for folks to get and learn how to grow food too. So
That's right.
what
You can
we're-
teach, you can give a man fish, or you can
Mhm.
teach him to fish and feed him for life, right? So, yeah, that's just so great. We want to thank our viewers for watching. We got Joyce Ann. And talk about that telehealth. Again, how can people log in to to maybe talk to a counselor for those people that can't get out right now?
Yeah. So all they would need to do for our entity is call our office number. That's the 319-232-4673, and schedule an intake appointment, just like you would with coming into the office. And with telehealth, they just need to have access to Zoom or FaceTime right now is what, with the different COVID allowances, which it's really important that they did. They opened up the formats. Before it had to be really a strictly medical telehealth platform that some people can't have the right camera for, but now you can use your phone. So Zoom or FaceTime.
Right, yeah.
And they would just call and schedule and then get the insurance in the system, and there's usually no cost to the client.
All right. Well, I think you can be very therapeutic to a lot of people, and we really appreciate you being here on the show. And we know anytime that you hear about something as good as the Hope Tree, we've got to share the news. And the fact that you're right over in my neighborhood, actually.
We're right here.
Yeah. It would be so nice to actually get out there and
come for a tour. Yes, I'd love to have you both.
Tour.
Yeah.
Yes.
That'd
It's
be
so much
great,
history
yes.
there too. It's a fun thing to see. A lot of people were employed at that lumberyard for many years in Waterloo. So
Is that
it's kind of a fun history.
It is.
And we really like to get out into the community and get a chance. I mean, after COVID, it's been a while for us to be able to do that anyway, to get out and just go live someplace and show, hey, this is what's happening.
Right. Because there's always something good happening on the North End and everywhere else. So we're so glad that you're here to share that. Because we hear bad news all the time, but we want everybody to know that there's a lot of good things in Waterloo. And I think that it's only going to get better.
Absolutely.
Especially when Sarah starts singing Happy Birthday.
Okay.
Right? That's when everything's going to change. Everybody's going to feel much better after you hear this woman acting like she can sing.
Okay.
That's a lot of pressure.
Okay, we got some great birthday people this week, Chaveevah.
Oh, yes. Every week we love our birthday people and we want to shout them out. Today we want to say happy birthday to Xavion Harris.
Xavion!
Happy birthday!
Yes.
Mikael Pollard.
Mikael.
Bruce Gardner.
Bruce.
Yep. Dusky Steele.
All right, our girl Dusty.
Reverend Marshondus Robinson.
Woo, woo.
And Eric Dunat. Happy
Eric,
birthday.
There you go.
Do not
Yes.
miss the party for
There
your
you-
birthday.
All right.
We love Eric. Do not. Frayshawn Forney.
Hey, Trishawn.
Yes, and Lysandra Harrington. We met her, Chaveevah.
That's right.
Right,
On the bus,
Chantel
yes.
Matlock. Such a pretty name. Michelle T. Meyer from the
Yes.
school
Yep.
administration.
Happy birthday, Michelle.
And our very own friend, Laura Hoy. And the world's best singer, and he's not acting.
See, we need him.
We do.
Travell.
Travell Fisher. Happy
Right.
birthday.
We love you, Travell. Exactly. So now we like to sing the Stevie Wonder version. You familiar with that?
Oh, I hope so.
Okay. I hope so. Look at her.
You know,
She's
just
acting.
hum along and clap and you'll be just fine.
Right, right.
Harmonize.
Yeah, you try to harmonize. I don't know, Chaveevah sings kind of flat sometimes, but here we go.
Like all the time.
I'm sure you would agree
It couldn't fit more perfectly
than to have a world party.
on the day you came to be.
Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, she knows.
Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday, happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday.
All right, there
Right,
we go.
exactly. And celebrate responsibly for your mental health, right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
And your physical health as well.
Right, right. Celebrate life every day because it's so short and we just want to enjoy it all, you know, as much as we can. And being good to yourself, like
Yes.
Black Hawk County Health Department said.
Yes.
Take care of yourself, make those appointments, and celebrate your birthday. And again, we had another great show.
Yes,
Yeah, thank
absolutely.
you for having me. It was
No,
great to meet
thank
you
you so
both.
much for
Yeah.
joining us and giving us the information about the Hope Tree Counseling Services Program.
Yeah,
Thank
great.
And you can look for me. I'll be wandering around those horses because I like horses a lot.
No, come by and meet Ernest and Izzy. Those are our donkeys.
Oh,
Ernest and
I don't know.
Izzy. Okay.
Okay, well, we'll have to see about the donkeys. I want to ride it. No, okay. We'll see. We'll be there. Thank you so much again.
Yeah,
and we want to
great.
encourage all of our viewers, until next time. Oh, Kimberly. You gotta say hi to Kimberly.
Okay.
Hi, Kimberly.
Hi,
Carol, our
Kimberly.
favorite Carol. And
Hi,
also
Cindy.
Shirley, Cindy, everybody. We love you,
Shirley.
Deborah. Okay, until next time, all y'all, keep doing more of what makes you awesome.
Because it makes us
All look good. Right. See you next time.